leading up to it, not so quite so easy.
All right.
Take questions?
Yeah.
Sure.
What's the status of the 2 House races that are under recounts, and what's the timetable on those?
We had an update from the boards of elections.
Yeah, in the Holmes Tuscarawas district, Holmes is finished with its process.
They added 1 vote, correct?
Correct. I think for Landis. And Tuscarawas, I think, expects to be done by Monday. I think Cuyahoga expects to be done by Monday as well.
And we are going to have the remainder of that information ready by early next week, correct?
In terms of the provisional absentee data we'll have next week, but then we'll have their updated numbers for those House races later on.
So when do you anticipate certifying that vote?
The boards will certify those.
The boards certify that. That's done locally.
The most populous in each of those races. But we'll have those results available on our website once we've gone through and
so
checked them for accuracy.
Has Landis then gone from 14-vote lead to 15-vote lead?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
From the board.
That's what's been reported to us.
So to be clear, did you have to certify the statewide votes and then each individual county
statewide, congressional, and the issues. What's in here is president, vice president. The Supreme Court, the U.S. Senate is next. The congressional representatives. Well, wait a minute. The Supreme Court, and then state issues 1 and 2.
We all know about the legal problems leading up to the election, but how satisfied were you with the final result? Election
Well, the final result in terms of how we administered the elections went very well. There was a lot of pre-election posturing, but ultimately our opinion on all provisional ballot issues and the like was upheld by the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. We administered the election according to the law and according to the guidance that we received from the federal courts, and all of that was executed to the letter, and the process was proven to be sound, and it proved that our office, in conjunction with the 88 county boards of elections, ran a good race and a good elections process, and we're proud of that. I'm proud of all of them. I'm proud of the 40,000 poll workers that were out there on election day. Does that mean that Ohio can't learn lessons from things that have gone on? No, it doesn't mean that. There are lots of lessons to be learned. The issues are not hard. It's just trying to overcome the partisanship that exists out there as we continue to try to modernize our election system and improve upon what we have. But Ohioans can be very proud of our system of elections.
How do you respond to the Democrats' allegations, at least in these 2 House races, that provisional ballots are not being counted that should be counted?
Well, first of all, it's important to note from a process point of view that those decisions are made at the local level. At the local level, that's what the bipartisan Board of Elections did in accordance with the law, in accordance with the federal court ruling on how we're supposed to handle provisional ballots. I think it's very irresponsible for them to continue to try to throw things against the wall, make absurd accusations, hoping that something sticks. The bottom line is that we followed the law, the election was run like it's supposed to be run, and the voters can feel confident that the people with the most votes were the ones that are elected and will represent them, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Electoral College is on the 17th, is that right?
So on the 17th, we'll be sending out something tomorrow on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a time? You have a time?
What time? It'll be a media advisory at some point tomorrow.
No, I mean the time of the Electoral College.
It'll be a morning event.
It's noon.
Is it noon?
I believe it's noon in every state across the country.
And these 18 people...
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
These 18 people that are listed here would be the ones that will cast votes on that day?
Unless they're for some reason the delegate can't be there and the
There's an absence.
Who's there? What do we call their backup? I don't know what the right term is, but is there?
Alternate.
Proxy.
Alternate, yeah, alternate delegate.
Go ahead.
Going forward, what are things that you want to see in any kind of election reform that the General Assembly made?
You know, I don't want to get into that right now because this is something that has to be, you know, right now the legislature's doing all the stuff that the legislature's doing. Tensions are pretty high over there. We're going to be doing an analysis. We're going to talk with local boards. We're going to talk with some of the folks that work on election reform at the national level, talk to a variety of stakeholders across the state, and make a list of recommendations. But I can tell you that they won't be largely much different than the set of recommendations that I gave them 2 years ago, which had at their onset a lot of support. Every major newspaper in the state had endorsed our package of reforms when it arrived. I know I spent time going personally to every legislator's office who was on the committee, Democrat and Republican, working it through the process. We had only small concerns about the package when it initially arrived, but then it blew up during that process, and amendments were added, and people dug in, and it became partisan. But we had a package that we delivered 2 years ago that was bipartisan in nature, had a lot of broad spectrum support, and I imagine that many of the things that were contained in that package will be the same things that we bring back. No need to reinvent the wheel. This system works pretty well. You just need competent administration of it, and you need to learn the lessons of the past, learn from the lessons of the past, and try to find something that's balanced, that has the concerns of those who want improved access and those who are worried about fraud, to balance that out and make sure that all of those issues are addressed. I think for reasonable people, that's easy. For partisans, it's real hard.
Have you spoken to either Senator Faber or Turner about this plan they claim they're going to have out next week?
I have had passing conversations with a number of members in the Senate. I encouraged them to try to pass something in the lame duck session, because I think for them and for all of us, it provides reassurance that even though the timing may be too short right now to get it done through both the House and the Senate and get it to the ballot in the lame duck, it will demonstrate a good faith effort that they're serious about doing this for the future. And of all the things that we talk about, this has the potential to be one of the most important, substantial reforms in recent Ohio history as it relates to improving our political process. And they should be commended if they do that. And what I've seen, the broad strokes are largely what I had recommended over the course of the past few years, and they've added a tweak here and there. You know, I commend them for undertaking the issue right now, and I hope they get something passed. I mean, I think it would be a very powerful message for them to send that they're serious about reform.
Are you running for re-election in 2 years?
Well, I just finished this election. Can I just go home and spend some time with my family before I start talking about what my plans are? But if I run for anything, it will be for re-election to Secretary of State. So that's probably the most important thing you were trying to find out.
Mr. Secretary, you're saying there are some lessons that we can draw